Law Enforcement and Retail Conference down here in beautiful Orlando, Florida. I have the distinct pleasure of sitting down with the brand new Vice President of Asset Protection and Retail Operations with the NRF. I have known this gentleman for way too long. We figured out 21 years, Dave. Congratulations on the new role.
Thank you very much.
You and I connected way back in early 2000s when a little application called XBR rolled out, and it was the hottest new thing in the industry, bar none. The thing to have, everybody else was looking at us like, what is this solution you have, and what are you doing with it, and how easy is it to build cases? And you're sitting in the hall at Clear Conference. Look at the technology out here now.
It's amazing. It's completely amazing from where we've been to where we are today. The evolution, the innovation that we see in the technology side is amazing. The collaboration with the solution providers and the practitioners. But, it's also important because the role has changed.
Yep.
Quite a bit and continues to change at dramatic paces. Year over year, as we've seen over the last few years.
Oh, absolutely. And, thinking back, way back when, in the early 2000s, when you and I were just starting out on this adventure of data analysis and data analytics, and nobody had ever done it before, or at least nobody ever had the capability of just doing it as we needed to do it and finding cases. And now you look around this room and you see all of this technology out there and how far things have come. It blows my mind. It absolutely does. Dave, NRF and Clear have been partners for a number of years now. Congratulations on the new role.
Thank you.
Couldn't think of a better person to fulfill this role. NRF, National Retail Federation, huge, big retail trade association. Organization is phenomenal, always very supportive of us. Talk to me about, you're new to this position. What's on the forefront? What are you looking at achieving in your new role?
Yeah, first of all, I'm very thankful for the opportunity with the National Retail Federation. Having been a practitioner, a solution provider in my career, as I've gone through my career path with asset protection, the NRF has always played a large role. I remember how nervous I was the first time I presented at an NRF. I remember my first time I actually even attended an NRF as a regional, where it was an honor to be selected amongst your group to attend on behalf of your company. And again, this role now, as I had mentioned previously, with so much change in our profession, in our industry, it's more important than ever before. And the National Retail Federation, they see that. They understand the change. Our relationship with organizations like Clear, and I do have to give you a shout out, and Rich, where, I do recall talking, early on many years ago about, building out Clear, and to see it here today with the number of attendees, the number of solution providers, the state associations, the national associations, law enforcement. It's all about cooperation, collaboration and community, because it's going to take all of us to really tackle the issues of today, particularly, organized retail crime. And what you've put together here over the years has been fantastic, and we're very honored, and I'm privileged to be part of that.
Well, a number of the folks that we've been interviewing and talking to today, we all remember the very beginning. We had, a room full of 20, 50 people. We were, if we had 100 people attend the conference, we were ecstatic. We were like, oh, wow, 100 people showed up. Now we have almost 700 people here, and we're all looking at each other like, can we go further than this? Let's see. So I appreciate that. It's been a lot of hard work. It's a love. It's a joy of ours. It's an all-volunteer board. None of us get paid to do this. We all come down here, pretty much, some of us on our own dime, just to, participate and help out the community, right? Law enforcement, retail investigators coming together, building that partnership, continuing to grow together. Back in the day, you would look at a law enforcement officer and hand deliver this case, and they'd look at you and like, that's shoplifting. And now, you have the Deputy Assistant Director of Homeland Security here speaking. And speaking about the importance of this partnership and this community coming together, working together, and delivering solutions to end the problem that is organized retail crime.
Yeah, absolutely. And you had asked about the NRF and their commitment to this. It's, the most recent National Retail Security Survey, the participants there, it's almost $100 billion in loss. More than a quarter of them stated that ORC has increased, over the year. Listening to the speakers today and looking forward to the speakers tomorrow, we're going to continue to see how much of a serious concern it is. And to be able to have, again, that collaboration between law enforcement, retailers, and such is outstanding.
Yeah.
And not only with just our environment, but even listening to Raul and Lauren earlier today, Lauren being with ACAMS, or ACAMS, excuse me, starting to get the financial institutions, because as I mentioned, it's going to take a community of all of us in order to curb this issue.
Yeah. And the funny thing about, that in particular, and bringing, we have the International Association of Financial Crimes Investigators here, one of the preeminent financial crime investigative associations in the world. Having them here means a lot. It shows that, hey, listen, we're going to inject ourselves into this because there's obviously a problem, and we may have solutions that can help. And some of the same people that we're investigating are probably involved in some of these other things. And this is global. It's international. I mean, Europe is just starting to feel the pains of organized retail crime. They're still in their infancy as far as that's concerned. They're where we were probably 10, 20 years ago. So they're starting to recognize it over there as well. So it's definitely a problem. I can remember way back 20 years ago where, if we had an issue, refund fraud, major crimes, things like that, tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars involving a bank or financial institution or a credit card provider. And actually, in those days, you actually reached out. You became a member of, the Certified Fraud Examiners or IASCI, and you built these partnerships and these relationships there. And when they saw something, or you brought them something, they would deal with it. And then sometime, not very many years into the early 20s, those doors closed because all of a sudden, well, we have to protect our consumer, we have to protect our customer, and that you can't do this and you can't do that. And now, luckily, some of those doors are starting to open up again because they're seeing that, hey, the criminal element is utilizing your financial institution to bankroll a lot of the stuff that's going on.
Yeah, and I can understand that, and again, we talked about how long we've known each other. I was over with the IAFCI, talking to them about their history when I was a part of it at the IECCI, which was the credit card investigations, running the Nigerian fraud scams and things like that with credit cards. But consumer privacy, data privacy is important.
Yeah,
as we talked about technology, and as technology has evolved, and we've gone from the papers to a cell phone, a mobile device. It's important for us to have that privacy. But the relationships, the networking is duly important and vital to us being successful. And I think that, looking at it from what can we do, within those privacy laws, within the structure of policy, but also just the in-person, impromptu networking and building the relationships and the contacts is going to make it go a long way. And we've seen that and continue to see that as we start to, to continue things like CLEAR and the ORCAs and the trade show associations. So I know there's a long way to go, but we've seen a lot of momentum. We're finally getting to legislatures with the bills that are in the House and the Senate. And hopefully we start to utilize that momentum and really try to bring some of this home to, really stop the issue.
Yeah, I mean, the ORC problem is a huge public safety concern on so many different levels. When we're talking about stealing laundry soap and stealing baby formula, which is, a hot commodity right now because of the supply chain issues, just some of the things that are going on and how it's ending up back in the marketplace and what those funds are being used for other than, obviously bankrolling the crime syndicate that surrounds it, some of the other stuff, tying all that together. Raul with HSI actually spoke about it today. It's scary. it's scary the influence that it has on public safety in a negative way. And look at the days gone by. I mean, most of the time these guys, they were just fighting to get away from you so they could run. Now they're fighting to fight because now you're affecting their livelihood, or God forbid, whatever the situation is, their family could be at risk or whatever the case may be. The impact of public safety is just so significant.
Absolutely. And that's the full story that we need to make sure that, legislatures and the public and the media, understand is, for many, many years, it was just shoplifting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And shoplifting was just a loss of product, from $1 billion right. industry or a $1 billion corporation, and it's much more than that. We're talking employee and consumer safety in the stores with these brazen, smash and grabs and shoplifting events and organized crime occurrences. We're also talking, safety of the consumer if they're dealing with anything from a health and medical or food-related items. And then on top of that, you also have to look at it from the economy perspective. Mm-hmm. And what is it doing to communities and tax benefits, and how does it affect community services, particularly when you see stores shutter their doors because their employees feel unsafe, or it's issues with crime in the neighborhoods, and we've got to look at it from the entire issue and try to pick it apart in order to
those communities. I mean, if a retailer shutters, it may be a pharmacy, it may be a grocery store, and those are essential items to a neighborhood for them to flourish and to have that ease of access to those items and those products to support their livelihood, right? To support their life, whatever it might be. So, the impact is just significant. So, this is your first clear.
It is.
Pretty interesting, huh?
Very interesting.
I mean,
very interesting.
You've known about Clear for a number of years, obviously in your past roles, maybe ORC, or the need to be involved in this world because of the type of environments you were in may not have been necessary to make your way down here. But how do we do for your first show?
It's fantastic. Again, I think it really is a collective group of individuals that are really focusing on the same goal, and again, I really have to have the Fusion Center, which is kind of interesting because if you come to most of the conferences, it's you don't see the retailers behind the table, but to see the Fusion Center of all the different retailers represented here and there, and the work that they're doing to combat ORC is fantastic. To see the solution providers on the outside, circling the entire hall, and then of course the law enforcement engagement. And when you walk outside or you walk around the expo hall and you see that the law enforcement's talking with the retailers and the solution providers, it's really all about collaboration and community.
Oh yeah.
I expect it's going to continue to grow, and we definitely want to help with that growth and anything that we can do at the NRF.
We want to see the continued growth. We're about to bust out at the seams at the Rosen here in Orlando. Hopefully that happens. I like to see the growth. I love to see what's happening as far as Clear is concerned. We have a tremendous team that puts all of this together. It's a tough show because, we all have jobs throughout the year. We all have to work. We all have things to do. This year was, bar none, the best show that we've ever had. And I want to welcome you. I want to welcome and thank you for your partnership with NRF and Clear. I mean, it just means a lot to us for a national trade association such as NRF to recognize us and to want to work with us and build and grow together. That's really important to us. I think that really, we did that, I don't even know now, 5 to 7 years ago, I think. We sat down at NRF with leadership, and they said, yes, absolutely, this relationship needs to occur. So I'm so glad that you took this role with NRF, the relationship that we have for a couple decades now. I just look forward to working with you in your new role and seeing everything that you have to deliver at NRF. It's going to be a very exciting time for you.
I appreciate that, John. Thank you. It's been great, and I look forward to working with you and the members of Clear in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Hey, everybody. Again, JC out here at Clear 2022 in beautiful Orlando, Florida. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for more great content, more great interviews. Look forward to it, and thanks for joining us.